Hello, Dividend executives. Welcome back. The stock market is open, so you already know, just like we do each and every single Wednesday, we are buying stocks, we're adding assets to the portfolio. We're taking a look at last week, how much money did we make, where should we spend it this week, and we're taking a look at the new payouts that are going to be coming this Friday. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they indifferent? We're going to take a look, but the portfolio is looking good. Pretty much flat today at the $40,688 for the week. We are up about 1.4% or 583. For the month, we're up almost 13% or 4,672. And then year to date, 2.42%. 1 year, 27.91. And then all time since we opened the account, we're up $10,518 or 34.87%. So not too bad over the last 2 years. If you've been following the journey, you know we started this account at zero just over 2 years ago with a goal to make $5,000 a month of pure passive dividend income. And we do that by just buying stocks each and every single week. We reinvest all of our premiums. We take zero cash out. We add over $100 on average of new cash each and every single week. And we've done it every week over the last almost 2.5 years here coming up this summer. And we're just at it. So buying power right now is 6,240. And I want to take a look at the payments that came in this last week, right? So we had a couple of payments, and the ones that I have here are ones that weren't automatically reinvested. Obviously, we have our DTEs that are reinvesting, and so I don't include that cash because we're already reinvesting that automatically back into those assets. But I wanted to take a look at some of the assets that we're not reinvesting automatically because we can use that cash to buy more assets. So Ymax came in on Friday at about $107. We put another $100 worth of cash on Monday like we do every single week automatically. CONY paid us $73. TSW paid us $15. And then MVDL, we sold some super safe puts. Those expired worthless, and so we kept and collected the $40. So we have some spending to be doing. Where are we going to do it? Well, you guys know the first two are going to be in SCHD and VTI. The third is going to be into our margin balance. We're cutting away at that. And next week, I will have a video on that. And then, or potentially this weekend actually, on the next month worth of margin interest and how it did for us and if it continues to make sense to have that. And then the next one we're going to be putting money into, and we have not injected any capital in this ETF for a long time, is going to be QDTE. And the reason for that is because it is time to get this sucker close to that 250 share count. We're almost there, so I want to get it there so we can turn off drip and we can start really stacking the dividend snowball into some other assets. So first things first, let's take a look at a few things. Let's buy some stocks. But of course, full transparency, let's look at the dividends that came in, right? So you can see we had I think 5 Fridays last month. So we ended up having a record-breaking over $2,000 worth of dividend income in May because of that. And we had some massive payments. So like we just talked about, we had CONY come in at $73.51, Ymax come in at $107.45, QDT at $51.52, which was reinvested automatically, XDT at $43.42, rdte at $56.48, all those reinvested automatically, and then TSLW, they changed the name from TSW to TSLW, and that came in at $15.59. We've been slowly stacking that, as you guys know, and so we're going to continue to do so on the next pullback. One coming up for today, $27.47. That is on JEPQ. That's going to hit the account. And we'll slowly increase some shares there as we continue to march towards our share count goal. So what are we going to do? Well, like we saw, we had about $335 worth of capital to spend. We are spending automatically. You guys know QDT, or I'm sorry, SCHD and VTI are on automatic purchases. So every single week, that's $25 in each of those assets, or $50 total. So we'll pull that off the top, and that would give us, roughly, let's say $75 that we could spend on other assets. Some of that's going to go towards margin. And so I want to buy some stocks, and we're just going to be stacking up one stock. You can see here that we're down on QDT, obviously not a total return. We'll look at that, but our total equity on this one is about $8,345. So I want to get this one done so that we can get the snowball stacking some of the others. As you guys know, I have some share count goals, and that is 250 shares of XDT, QDT, and RDT. Ymax was 500. We already hit the 500. We have the drip off for multiple weeks now, and we're just taking that cash and we're snowballing it into other assets so that we can get to our other 2025 share count goals even faster. And that's one of my favorite things to do when you have a dividend portfolio, right? You set a goal, you hit the goal, and then you start stacking towards your other share count goals so you can have some nice, well-rounded funds. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to come in here. 34.59 is what this one's trading at as of right now. We're going to go ahead and we're going to buy, what's 4 shares going to be? 138. Let's buy 5 shares. It's going to cost us $172. No problem. Just between, Ymax and CONY alone, that pays for this purchase. So that's $173. And it increases our position to about 246 shares, which gets us really, really close. Right now, this is dripping over a share a week. We'll look at that in the spreadsheet. So that puts us within the 3-4 week radius, which means we can get this done halfway into the year by the end of June, which is what I want to do. So as we start getting close, we'll turn the drip off on QDTE. Then we'll start taking those payments that are around $40 to $50 a week, and we'll start reinvesting it into some other funds. And then we'll just continue dripping there, right? So that's looking really good. QDT is getting close. RDT is still far away, and so is XDTE. But slowly but surely, we are marching towards those share count goals. So we made our purchase for the day like we do each and every single week. We like to buy stocks. And I want to talk about us to talk about this tweet from last night. Of course, Roundhill announced their weekly dividends like they do each and every single Tuesday night. Payout's going to be this Friday, as always. The only one that went down this week was QDT at 20.7 cents, down from the 21 cents. This one's been really, really lagging as of late when it comes to the dividends, but that's all right. We bought some more shares. We increased the income. XDT is up to 24.8 cents, up from the 20 cents last week, so a really nice increase there. RDT at 30 cents, which is awesome, up from the 26 cents the previous week, and we're looking really good there. So that's the DTEs. I do want to talk about another thing here. You guys know, this is one of my other tweets from a day ago. You guys know that we've been watching this journey and we're trying to get to house money. And what I mean by that is we bought 100 shares of all 4 of these funds in the dividend account. And the goal is, if I spend $1,000, is to get $1,000 in dividends and then be free or house money as they refer to it, meaning that I've already gotten all my initial capital back. And then from then on, it is all gravy from there, right? So we're getting really close. I just wanted to give the update here. NVDY, we're about 5 months out. CONY, we're only about 2 months, depending on how these payments come in over the next 2 months. We are probably going to get that done here, in July, potentially August. MSTY, 5 months as of right now, but this one depends on the payment. I know the payout for this week's going to come in about, just under $150. So that'll decrease us down to 3.5, maybe 4. When it comes to the payouts on that. And then TSLY, we have about 6 months left, but I'm not shocked by that one because that's the one that we added capital to the latest. And so we haven't had a lot of time for this one to break even. So 6 months left on that, but all these are looking good to potentially be completely to house money by the end of 2025. That being said, let's take a look at a few things. Let's look at some of the other dividends that are coming in this week. Ymax announced theirs. And the ones I'm looking at, of course, MSTY at $1.47, so we'll get $147 there. And then Ymax and YMAG. YMAG coming in at 20 cents, Ymax coming in at 17.21. Not the greatest payment on Ymax. Obviously, we've seen worse when we're in the 12, 13, 14 cent range. But we'd like to see it higher like we did last week. But 17 cents is what it is. We will take that. And that's going to be the payout there. Now let's jump into the spreadsheet. Let's take a look at how things are looking. As we talked about, it was a record-breaking month in May, $2,058 worth of dividend income. A few things that have changed for this month that'll probably end up keeping us below that. One, obviously we don't have 5 Fridays, so it's going to be less payouts there. We ended up having 2 Coney payments, one for 65 and one for 73. So we won't have that as well. And then BITO, we let all of our shares go. We're trying to sell some puts to get some shares back. But as of right now, we have no BITO shares. So I'm not going to be expecting any dividend income to be coming in there. And then MSTY, obviously the 147. And then the DTEs will continue to stack as they reinvest themselves each and every single week. So SCHD is going to be coming in on the quarterly. That'll probably be between 50 and 60 bucks. VTI will be coming in probably between $10 and $12. Not a huge dividend payer there, so we have a little bit of addition there. So we'll lose on the BITO, we'll pick up on the quarterlies, and we'll just continue stacking. We passed $8,000 for the year of 2025 so far. So we've already almost surpassed what we did in all of 2024, which is cool to see. And the goal this month is 1,723. We're about 32% of the way to our annual goal of 25,000. We are about 11% of the way through our goal here, and we are averaging the usual $300 to $400 a week. These are the payments that should be coming in on Friday, and that's going to be $49.79 for QDTE, $52 for XDTE, $63 for rdte, Ymax coming in about $86, and then msty at $147. So we'll have some good cash to play with next week when it comes to buying more assets. And slowly but surely continue to build, right? We have some options income coming in, about $25 so far for June. We've been selling a couple of puts, just slow, safe delta plays. I can show you those real quick. These are the ones we have on the table. It looks like the BITO ended up just filling, so we will have to update that. But this morning I sold some really, really safe what are these? 0.006 delta puts at the 28.5. We sold them for the minimum of 0.05. So that's going to be a $20 credit. Those should just expire worthless. So 20 bucks there. This one ended up filling. We tried to get a bunch of contracts, but we only got one to fill. So we got $5 there. So that's $25 worth of options income this week on MSTX that should expire worthless in the next 2 days. And then BITO for next week, we're trying to get assigned some shares back at the 20 put. It's currently trading at about 21.11 right now. This has been falling ever since Bitcoin has traded sideways, down about 8% over the past week. So we're trying to get some shares back at that $20 range. Excuse me. And those are the puts, right? So we've been stacking up the puts, and then we just reinvest those. And then here's how we're looking for 2023, 2024, 2025. You can see white at 2023, blue at 2024, and green at 2025. We're at 190 so far with the 3 payouts we've gotten. We have a lofty goal to try to beat last month. I think it's going to be super hard to beat it because we had the extra week in there, and that adds a lot of extra income into May. But if we can keep getting above, we can keep raising that average between that $1,300, $1,400, potentially $1,500 mark, then I am happy with the account. So we'll keep pushing on towards that. And 190 is it's a good start to that. So that's where we're at. When we come to the weekly dividends, how are we looking on the DTEs? I know you guys probably are invested in these. So let's take a look at that. QDT way down. We talked about it. Averaging 19.4 cents down from the 28.8 all time. XDT is just a little bit down at 22 cents from the 25. rdte at 26 cents from the 28. So all of them are down, but slowly but surely they're all still green on the portfolio. Where are we looking? Well, we talked about the average. Even if you just look at the last four weeks on QDT, the average is $1.50 or 1.53 shares. So we talked about it. We should be close to that 250 share count goal by the end of June. No problem. And we're at a 9.75 total return, right? So even with the fund being down, we've received more dividends and $924 more in dividends, and we're at a 9.75% total return on QDT so far. XDT at 6.55% or $675 in the green. rdte has climbed out of the depths, and we are at a 1.13% return, and then Ymax is at a 4.67% total return. We hit the 5 share count back on 31 weeks, and now we are just letting it drip, and the 4 total pillars are paying us really, let's just look at the average over the last, couple of weeks. We're averaging about 238 a week between those 4 assets, so not too bad. Let's look at these. Trendline is still down on QDT. We are below the trend line this week. XDT trend line is on the way up. We were still below the trend line this week, but we're at least trending up overall. rdte trending down, but we had a really, really good payout that's going to be coming in this week, so that's nice to see. That'll slowly but surely bring up the trend line if we continue to beat that. And then Ymax, we're trending down, but we got paid out above the trend line here, so that's good to see. So that's where we are at on those. And then the last but not least, the share count goal, right? How are we looking? Well, we're getting close to completion. We started this at the beginning of 2025. We set some lofty share count goals, SHD at 250, VTI at 15, All the DTs at 250, Ymax at 500, TSLY at 100, and JEPQ at 50. We're really, really close. We're only about $5,600, $5,700 worth of capital away from hitting all these goals. You can see why I started allocating some money towards QDT today. It's a low-hanging fruit, $357 more to get it done. Obviously, we just increased our share count right there, and we got us that much closer. But if all things stay equal, all of the DTEs will drip themselves to the 250 goal. 26 weeks for XDT, QDT about 9 weeks before today's purchase, and rdte at 28 weeks. So it's possible to get them all done by the end of 2025 by just letting them drip themselves, but they're probably going to need a little push along, which is why I want to get QDT knocked out. Then I can start taking that payout every single week and allocating it towards XDT or RDT so that we can start turbocharging that goal. So that's the update for the week. The portfolio is looking good. The dividends are stacking, and the portfolio slowly but surely increases its passive income as we continue to sell puts and do some other trades in order to keep the all-time number going up. So that's where we're at. That's where we're. Those are the updates for the week. Those are the dividends that are coming in. Appreciate everybody as always. Happy investing, and we'll catch you next time.